I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Here.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Here.
Commissioner Metter.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Need approval of minutes of meeting held on August 21st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
S-
A second.
Second. Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
All right, visitors this evening. Josh Evans, you're up.
So the Knights of Columbus is going to be doing their annual ID drive, which is the Intellectual Disabilities Drive, where we collect money at 3 different locations in Mount Carmel. You might know of it as the Tootsie Rolls that we pass out. We're requesting to be able to do that again this year on September 22nd and 23rd. That is the weekend for homecoming. We've got 3 locations that we're doing this at. It would be at 9th and Cherry. It's been a standard place for us. At 13th and Market. And then also at 5th and Walnut. We'll additionally be setting up at Fast Break, but that's right in front of their doors, not out in the streets. Requesting permission to hold those, to be there for those dates, the 22nd and 23rd. It's 6 a.m. until noon on that Saturday. So.
Anybody have any questions? Yep, great cause. If you guys have the high-vis vests and stuff like that, that would be one of the requirements that the state has, so.
We do, and just so you're aware, we returned $8,500 into Wabash County from last year's drive, so. Yep, split between 3 entities, Wave, Echo, and the District 348.
Awesome. Great deal, great deal. You're good to go.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to reports. Welcome to the meeting this evening.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
To give a little update, I know some emails that went out, but for the public's notice, several meetings back, the council moved forward on putting liens on the AT&T building and the Long John Silver's property through some communications with both property owners or property management. As of Friday, or I guess today, I'm sorry, we got some payment on Friday and then it finished up today with AT&T, but the city of Mount Carmel, between Ryan and myself, we've been able to collect over $14,000 in yard abatement money that we've been able to get back from just those 2 entities by themselves. So that was a joint effort on both of us with a long communication.
And the money went back into the brush to help
Yep.
offset their costs and certain ones that get stuck mowing all those.
And they have both secured landscaping companies to keep the lots managed. I want to stomp on Commissioner Meeks here, but lead water surveys. And we would appreciate it if you get a chance to get online on our website and fill one of those out. We're kind of holding a contest right now, trying to promote it. If you get on, you fill out the lead service line survey before September 15th, you could, be one, we're giving away one month's free water to one person for filling that out. Now, one thing that I do want to clarify, we've had a few people get on there and check unknown just to do it quickly. That automatically sets for our crews to come out and dig your yard up to figure out what your water line is made out of. So please spend the 5 or 10 minutes, and hopefully everybody on the council has done this, but get online, get it done, and help us help you guys, because we're getting ready to go under contract with a company to do this, and they're, the more people that we have done prior, the better off we will be. And so, anyway, I've got to fill out this quarterly report to IEPA on where we're at, and we're still not 10% into it, so please get online and do that. As far as the old business, I talked to Republic Services today, and they have had a few little changes on what they want from us on our request to extend the contract. And so they asked for a few language changes. I have done those and resubmitted, and hopefully next week that will be approved. At the next council meeting, I will be asking for approval of formation of the City of Mount Carmel Pool Foundation. This will be a 501c3 to be able to accept donations from the public so they can get the tax benefits of that. This board will be comprised of the finance commissioner, the city clerk, myself, and 2 members of the public for a 5-member body. So this will help us move forward in, seeking possible grants on the private side, that even though we are a tax-free entity, we do not qualify under some grants for 501c3 status. So Toyota has went to that, where even though we're, like I said, a municipality, we do not qualify anymore as of the beginning of May of this year. So anyways, we'll get that done and then get that back to Brady. So I've drafted you, Eric, and Ryan. So anyway, that is my report. Commissioner Metter.
Thank you, Mayor. We finally completed Kitty Land, putting it together. We still have to spray some weeds and get a fence up, but it's looking a lot better out there. Hydraulic Avenue, we're putting a culvert in this week. Hope to have it, that started today, correct? And hope to have it done by Friday football game time. So hopefully before. So other than that, just a few maintenance items across the board that we're working on, and into my report.
As far as Kitty Land, we have ordered the rubberized mulch for the playground. We're just awaiting a date for pickup. So once we get that, then we will get that and get it installed, and then the fence will be the last thing that goes up. So
Sounds good.
yeah. And then again, I want to thank everybody who has donated to that. And I know the Rotary Club of Mount Carmel has come through with funding a lot of that, and then some private donations. So it's a nice community project. Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Just so you know, I did complete my lead water.
Awesome,
survey
thank you.
Quite some time ago, and it's
Yeah.
very simple, so.
I know Commissioner Meeks did.
So, did you feel
I did his for him.
Yeah. Also, I would like to thank the fire department. Last week, I came home and my carbon monoxide detector was beeping and going off, and called Ryan, and he told me to call him, and I think it was Mr. Clark and Hadra came out very promptly and checked it, and it turns out that my detector was just 10 years old, and I didn't read this print that was really, really tiny to know that, but it was still a good feeling that they checked it for me, and they were very professional and did a really nice job, so I want to thank them, even though it wasn't really a major ordeal, thank goodness. So as far as the finance side goes, pretty quiet week, $18,780 in revenue, $71,620 in expenses, putting us at $1,442,741 in the general fund, which is roughly 35% of our budget year to date. And we're, if my calculations are right, we're about a third through the fiscal year, so we're right on target for that. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Eichmeyer. Commissioner Meeks.
Thank you, Mayor. As far as we were talking about the water lines, if you have a crawl space, I know it's a little more of a problem, but go to your water meter, see what kind of line you got there, and then you go to the crawl space. I have a basement, so it's copper coming out of the water meter, and it's copper coming into the house. So it's, like Eric said, it's a pretty simple thing to do, and it will help the city out a bunch if you follow through with getting that done. Wastewater, continue doing regular plant maintenance. That's what I got. Water maintenance. They did several locates. Did vehicle maintenance, helped pour some concrete at the senior citizens, and used a jet truck to clean out a few sewer mains. In my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Meeks. Commissioner Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple of things. The big trash pickup will begin October 2nd. We ask that all large items be placed out at the curb, ready for pickup at 6 a.m. on Monday. However, they may not get to those items right away. So don't call and say, hey, they didn't get my items. However, they do need to be out there because they will not go back and re-pick up. Also, Republic is requesting that no items be placed in paper bags or cardboard boxes because those could deteriorate prior to Republic picking them up, and then it's just a mess. So they asked that they be in waterproof containers, so throw all the little stuff into a trash bag or things to that account. In addition, they will not pick up any construction materials, electronics, TV, microwaves, refrigerators, stoves, all that good stuff. So same thing, and make sure your mattresses and box springs are completely wrapped in plastic. So one of the easiest things that we have found for people to do, as opposed to actually wrapping the plastic and then it coming undone, is go and buy the waterproof Ziploc or the zipper waterproof mattress pads, and then you can just stick them in there, they zip up and they're good to go. You can get them pretty cheap locally. So those are one way that you can get them wrapped in plastic pretty easily. As for the fire department, we will be talking here in a little bit with City Clerk Turner about a fire, the Foreign Fire Board needed to be established for the fire department. And so we do have an ordinance for that we will need to discuss, and we'll talk about that, I guess, in a little bit. The fire department's also been very busy in the last couple of weeks. They have had 19 calls over the last 2 weeks, anywhere from smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors to motor vehicle crashes and lift assist. So it's been a very busy time at the fire department, and then in October will be fire prevention. So I think that's all I've got into my report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Zimmerman. Also do want to let you guys know at the last council meeting, we did vote to purchase the new loader from McCoy Equipment. It was delivered. One thing that we did opt to do was put a new windshield in the loader itself. So it did come in with trade at $66,000, but with it being there and them doing it all at once when they did their service on it, it was well worth it. And the guys really do appreciate the air conditioning in the unit. So anyway, Mr. Turner.
All right, as far as staff reports, it's normal operations at City Hall. Nothing overly new. We did get a new airport manager, Mr. Luis Garcia, which he'll give his report in a little bit. Tonight, the only thing I have, Mayor, is to just briefly touch on the insurance and the ordinance 2095 and the firefighters 2% tax board. So we can either do that after the staff reports, or we can do it right now.
We'll do it now, just go ahead, simplify.
Okay. So first, Commissioner Zimmerman will have the names for, let's see, no. First, we have to adopt ordinance 2095, and this is really simple because the state of Illinois says we need to adopt ordinance 2095.
Yep.
So it's not an option really for the city to do, but our attorneys looked at it, has approved it. Everybody involved looked at it, and we just need a first reading and a second to be waived.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve and and to waive the second reading.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks,
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Metter,
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
Mayor, do we need to explain this?
So what
People
the,
understand what it is?
so what the foreign firefighter tax is, basically it's for commercial, it's not an additional tax that anybody has to pay per se. If you have commercial property and your insurance is outside of the state of Illinois, it has to be collected separately. The Illinois Municipal League manages this for the state of Illinois, and once they get those, the 2% of what, let's say, your yearly rate is $2,000 for your property insurance on your commercial building. then there's an additional 2% that's added to that for fire protection. So that money is then collected at no charge by the Illinois Municipal League, and then it is sent to each municipality where that business has a location. So the state of Illinois had adopted this form back in 2018, and we've been receiving said funds since then, so.
Okay. Any more questions, Commissioner Meeks?
No, I just wanted I wanted people to understand that this is not gonna be a 2% tax on sales
No.
or anything else. It's not gonna cost them anything. Actually, it's gonna be a good thing.
Yeah.
And with that, you have to have a board to govern 2095, and I believe Commissioner Zimmerman has those names.
Yes, on that board will be Captain Elijah Hadra, Captain Mark Seaton, Chief Francis Speth, firefighter Jim Kinsler, and volunteer firefighter Drew Faulkner.
Who's what? As far as who's the chair, who's all of that? Do we know?
No.
Let's see.
We actually,
If you can ask, see if he has it, so I'll need to know that.
I think it said that would be decided by the board, so.
well, it was voted on. We have to adopt it that way on.
We have to adopt it with the positions?
Yes.
So while she's doing that, we can move on just out of sake of time. Next, our contracts are coming up with our insurance, and basically, I've met with our current provider, our sales rep, as you want to call him here, and he's moving to a different TPA. He's staying with the same company he's with, but he's also looking at a different TPA that covers our employees. Long story short, everything is basically staying the same for the next year except for the name. At the end of the year, we're looking at the savings out of close to $900 and some thousand, a savings of $1,000. The coverage doesn't change. It'll all fall within the guidelines of our unions. Our employees will be basically covered absolutely the same as they are now. We've already switched over the prescription drugs, which actually give us a better benefit for individuals that may have diabetes. So we're basically going on the recommendation of our provider to switch from Mutual Medical to Crescent Health Solutions. So unless there's any objection to that, one other positive of this is they've always had our medical and our prescription offset. Well, it was kind of hard with the contracts to negotiate a contract because they had them intentionally, I think, opposite of each other. This way we'll put everything on October 1st. So with that said, I've emailed everybody Crescent's proposal. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer them best of my knowledge, but that's what we have.
In the Crescent Health Solutions actually has a lot of advantages as far as for the employees and stuff. So one of the many things was the health magazine and stuff like
Correct.
that. With my personal employer's insurance, we get that now, and they, point out a lot of things that you could be looking at and thinking about, especially you get, close to 50. So, oh, don't you laugh. But anyway, like I said, there's much more involved as a healthcare provider versus what we've had. Mutual Medical has done us very well over the years, but anyway.
So if you guys are good with that, I would need
You need
a motion to accept Crescent.
Yep, I need a motion.
I'll
I'll
second.
All right, roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
Commissioner Metter?
Yes.
You have those
Yes.
names, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Elijah Hadra will be the chairman, Mark Seaton will be the secretary, Jim Kinsler will be the assistant chairman, Drew Faulkner will be the treasurer, and Francis Speth will be the acting chief.
All right, so we need a motion to approve those.
Make a motion.
Second,
I'll say,
roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Weeks?
yes.
Commissioner Reitmeyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Nutter?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
Thank you.
Into my report.
All right. Welcome, Mr. Garcia. You're up.
Good evening.
Evening.
Excuse me. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been training with Ken Woods and working to get the airport back in shape again. Here's a few terms I've been accomplished in the last 2 weeks. We received our fuel prices, made adjustments to compete with other local airports. At the same time, they stood whole profit in our next fuel sale. Sales are increasing as a result. Mooring and trimming are to back into the complete with FF standards. Took inventory of oil and sales. Work with pilots to address maintenance concerns on the airport. Also, on August 31st, we, Ken Woods, the mayor, Turner, and myself met at the airport where Barry, our airport engineer group, below some actions we met to improve. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to talk in front of people here.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Snow equipment. Hudson will cement a Class 5 truck, an F55, as a plow to make AF snow equipment result tractors pulls. We also determined the tractor because we need a new one, so it has to be more than 60% US made. One is made in Louisville, Kentucky. So once we are approved of it, we'll be back to ask approval to go bid the grant for 100% match location. Replacing the rails on runway 5 and 22 and 24 project. We got a mooring grant, 2023 project. Federal money will still be owed to the airport. This money will be used to equip the airport only. And that's my first report.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You did fine.
Sorry about that.
They, when we had the meeting with Hanson up there, to give you guys an idea, the reels are the lights at the end of the runway. Ours are very, very old, and we've had a lot of electrical issues with them. And so that's a project that we're trying to get funded about the same time as they do the run lights on the runways themselves. Back in 2017, the council approved a grant that we got from the federal government, but then it was rescinded, and then it was given back to us. And then in 2020, it was given back to us. We then submitted for a new tractor, plow equipment, and things like that for the runways, and then the federal government said they would give us an exemption. Then after they said that, they took the exemption away from us, that the piece of equipment had to be made more than 60% in the United States. And apparently, there's no snow removal equipment at the size we need to do that. So we came up with looking at a Class 5, which is an F550 pickup truck, like Lewis said, was made in Louisville, Kentucky. So more than 60% of it's made in the United States. So hopefully we will get that money in the near future. But there's a lot of other projects that as they come up, we will be expanding on out there. But we've been trying to get everything back up to shape up there and make the pilots happy. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Chief McWilliams.
I have no report.
My gosh.
Wow.
See how easy that is, Louis?
Mike's doing a little training today.
He's like, I got set up.
Stay away from Ken Wood, just hang with Mike.
And we, as far as the airport goes, we do appreciate Ken Wood and Robert Storkman and the other guys up there going through and
Yes.
training Lewis and showing him the ins and outs.
Very helpful.
Nobody knows the airport better than Ken does, and to be able to bring him out of retirement for training, it was a blessing, because you guys definitely don't want Ryan and I training Lewis on how the airport runs. It wouldn't be good.
And I'll bet Ken enjoys it.
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
So. And Mr. Gidcombe is not here this evening. Mr. Dallas, do you have anything?
I do.
Man, you learned from Chief, didn't you?
I did.
No report. Okay. Moving on to consent agenda. I need a motion to approve bills all bearing proper signature.
I'll make.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Nutter.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
Any other things we need to discuss this evening? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.